There is an enormous amount of PhDs that live below the poverty line, and there's also a lot of people like myself that make extraordinarily amounts of money. And I just want you to listen to what I'm gonna say before you get upset. I view myself as, is it not possible to become extraordinarily wealthy, but move the needle so everybody else feels good and they feel encouragement and they feel that they can actually move the world no matter where they are and what's actually going on in their life? I struggle with this, first of all, because I was a PhD student for a long time. My family didn't grow up with much at all. In fact, being a PhD student, I actually was probably more wealthier at that moment than I had ever been. We were very stable in terms of my family. My dad was a blue-collar worker, pulp machine operator, and my family raised 6 kids. Both of my parents did not come from anything. My grandma was an orphan. My other family side were immigrants, straight off the boat immigrants. And what I think about with all of this, now that I've gotten older, and I'm sure some of you are going to look up my salary and all that kind of stuff. I know it. But the way I look about this, and by the way, I'm not going to break even for doing a PhD. I've done the financial calculation. I know how to do that kind of stuff until pretty close to about now. I think it's about when I'm 50, 55 is when it breaks even compared to just staying and being an engineer. I think about this is, what does it mean to do extraordinarily well yourself, but allow other people to feel encouraged to do that themselves as well, no matter what path that they actually take, whether they become, a researcher or a PhD. And I've had a lot of videos that talk about, how you could do that. It's not terribly difficult in terms of the knowledge behind it. I'm not going to go into that, but what I'm thinking about is, and by the way, you can look those up. By the way, what I think about is not about wealth per se, but it's how do I have a bigger legacy? How do I have a bigger impact? How do I make, and I'm not talking about conquering the world and all that kind of stuff. What I'm thinking about is, how do I make people feel better? What is the one thing that I can do to move the needle so that they feel encouraged, so they can get out and do extraordinary things? There's moments that we all go through. A lot of moments. Even today, I don't feel like I've made it, whatever that means. But we go through a ton of moments. We all go through these where we just don't feel like this is working out. Every day I go through that. It's not something that disappears. And I just want, if somebody was to bump into me on the internet, would they look at what I'm doing? Would they feel encouraged? Oh, there's a rabbit here. I'm just running away. And the dogs. Would they feel encouraged? Would they know that they can do extraordinary things no matter where they are and what they're going through and the situation that they're going through? I think about the one person in Afghanistan right now that, that it's a challenging place, but they can have the courage to watch this and to feel like they can go out and do something that just moves the needle just a little bit, one little tiny bit, right? They watch this, they have access to a phone, they watch this and they just do something a little bit, even though it's a tough place to actually be in. And I think about that is whatever you're going through, whatever the moment that you're going through, I hope you watch this and you say, I can do it. I can put in a little bit of work today. I can move the needle. I can do something. And I hope everybody around me feels that, right? Like, I'm gonna try to encourage everybody, from my mom to everybody, where they feel safe, to my kids, to people that I run into where they feel safe. Not only when so they feel safe when they pursue something and they try, that they hear just a reassuring voice that says, it just wasn't the right time, but let's try back and do it again. Let's try one more time. And that's part of the reason why I have so many different videos. Just to show you, I think it's like thousands and thousands, probably 5,000 videos now that I've put up. It's just, don't give up. This might not be the thing that takes off and goes crazy, but don't give up. Take one more pursuit, one more jump, one more try. That's all that you can do, is just don't give up. Everybody else is going to give up around you, and everybody's going to think you're crazy, but not you. You're going to try, you're going to move the needle, you're going to push one more time every day, and everybody's going to make fun of you, but that's okay. Take care.